16th branch of Megamart and Macromart supermarkets in Bahrain has opened in Sahala. The best offers are available to the customers at affordable rates. Everyone is welcome. During and around the opening day, a variety of fish including salmon, meat and dairy products, roastery, frozen items, food and non-food items, groceries, fruits and vegetables, electronics, garments and ready-to-eat food items are available to the customers at affordable rates. Hearty welcome to all. Megamart and Macromart, your favorite shopping destination.
A very good evening, everyone. Before starting the program, I request everyone, including the PLC members, to please take their seats. And now we'll be closing this main door. If anybody wants to move around, they can use the back door. And please keep your phones on silent mode. Thank you. A very good evening to everyone. On behalf of Pravasi Legal Cell, I, Ramanpreet Praveen, welcome you all in this knowledge-exploring legal and medical awareness program, Connecting People. Pravasi Legal Cell is a registered non-governmental organization working to empower people with power of law. It is a group of retired judges, advocates, social activists, journalists, and inspired citizens of India. It was inaugurated by Dr. Christy Fernandez on 1st February 2009. Pravasi Legal Cell is a brainchild of Advocate Jose Ibrahim, Advocate on Record, Supreme Court of India, who is also its global president and operational head. Pravasi Legal Cell aspire to mitigate a wide range of injustice that the common man encounters in everyday life. PLC aims at protecting the vitality and dignity of human life without discrimination on any ground such as caste, religion, gender, language, place of birth, etc., and ensuring the constitutional as well as the legal rights of the common man. Let's watch a small presentation.
Opening the doors of justice to people who had no access to the grievance redressal system. Pravasi Legal Cell. A non-governmental organization which has completed a decade of fruitful existence globally was motivated by the smile which justice puts on faces. PLC, working to empower people with the power of law, was inaugurated by Dr. Christy Fernandez, the Secretary to the President of India, on the 1st of February 2009. PLC is the brainchild of Jose Ibrahim, Advocate on Record, Supreme Court of India, who is also its global president and operational head.
I'm very happy to note that PLC Bahrain chapter is going to celebrate its first anniversary. During its eventful existence, PLC Bahrain chapter could take up so many issues and many people got the relief as well, especially from the weaker sections. At this time of joy, once again I congratulate and extend all the very best wishes to PLC Bahrain chapter, and I hope and trust that under the able leadership of Mr. Sudhir Tirunalat, Pravasi Legal Cell Bahrain chapter could achieve greater heights in the coming years. Thank you.
PLC has helped thousands of Indians who faced injustice in India and abroad and has brought up numerous matters to the attention of the government and the judiciary. During the COVID pandemic, millions of migrants benefited from PLC's legal and other interventions, including an order from the Supreme Court for the complete refunding of air tickets booked for travel during the lockdown periods. As part of expanding further, the PLC spread its wings to soar heights and established its Bahrain chapter on April 23, 2020 and was officially inaugurated on October 4th the following year. The committed and dedicated team of PLC Bahrain chapter, led by its country head Sudhir Tirunalat, has completed one successful year in the kingdom.
PLC Bahrain is definitely a success story. The sheer number of cases we resolved is enough to say this. I thank the entire team and the authority of Bahrain for their effort and support, without which this would not have been possible. We hope to serve better in the coming days. Feel free to contact us for any legal assistance. Thank you.
Yes, PLC is growing. The latest being its Dubai chapter, which was launched earlier in April. The growth signifies the much needed empowerment of expatriates on the legal front.
There's a saying, 3 keys to more abundant living are caring about others, daring for others, and sharing with others. And that's what PLCs is aiming at and is dedicatedly focused to be there for anyone who needs help. I invite Mr. Sudhir Tirunalat, Global PRO and Bahrain Country Head, to please come forward and welcome our guests and friends.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and warm welcome to each and every one of you at this distinguished gathering of minds and hearts. As we convene under the auspice of Connecting People, Legal and Medical Awareness Program, it is an immense privilege to stand before you today and extend my heartfelt greetings on behalf of Pravasi Legal Cell. We are truly honored to have in our midst some distinguished dignitaries who have graced us with their presence. We extend our sincere gratitude to our Honorable Global President Advocate Jose Abraham, Advocate on Records, Supreme Court of India, Mr. Hussain Al Hussaini from Ministry of Labour, Mr. Ravi Shankar Shukla, the Second Secretary from the Embassy of India, Mr. Mahfuzur Rahman, I think he will be joining soon, First Secretary of Labour Affairs from the Embassy of Bangladesh, Ms. Jamuna Kafle, Labour Attaché from the Embassy of Nepal, Ms. Shashiga Somaratne, Head of Chancellery, Embassy of Sri Lanka, Mr. Chabilal, Honorable President of Nepalese Club, Mr. George Muthuri, representing Kenyan community, and other office bearers from different associations. PLC country heads and coordinators from different parts of the world will be joining in the Zoom link. PLC panel lawyer Advocate Tariq Alwan, Advocate VK Thomas, Advocate Madhwan Kalat, Advocate Wafa Ansari, Advocate Mohammed Maklub, Senior Dr. Sandhu, Dr. Sushruth Srinivas, and many other dignitaries of the dais. Your esteemed presence reflects the shared commitment of our nations for foster and sense of belonging, support and empowerment among expatriates, making a positive impact on their lives. Today's event, Connecting People, embodies the spirit of collaboration, bridging gaps, and fostering a sense of community among expatriates. As we delve into enlightening session, the first being a health talk delivered by Dr. Shushrut Srinivas, a distinguished specialist in orthopedic from King's Health Bahrain. His insight into maintaining a healthy and vibrant life, even in a foreign country, will undoubtedly provide invaluable guidance to all present. The second session, Safe Migration, will feature a riveting talk show bringing together the legal experts and community leaders. This discourse will illuminate the path towards safe and secure migration, a subject close to the hearts of many expatriates, enabling them to navigate the challenges with resilience and awareness. This event serves a testament to the ethos of Pravasi Legal Cell, which is committed to advocating for the right and well-being of expatriates. Our goal is to provide a platform of meaningful dialogue, sharing experience, and garnering collective wisdom to address the unique needs of our expatriate community. The Connecting People program symbolizes the unity in diversity that defines our expatriate family, transcending borders and fostering a global network of support. On this note, I extend my heartfelt gratitude to all our partners, sponsors, and volunteers who are dedicated their time and resources to make this event a reality. Your unwavering support underscores the strength of our collective efforts. I would like to extend warm welcome to all our distinguished guests, community leaders, participants, and attendees who have gathered here today to share in the enriching experience. Let us engage, learn, and collaborate to pave the way for a brighter and more secure future for our expatriate community. Thank you, and I wish you all a productive and insightful program ahead. Good evening.
Thank you, Mr. Sudhir. Now, I humbly welcome Advocate Jose Ibrahim, PLC Global President. He is an advocate on record with the Supreme Court of India. He is the founding president of the NGO Pravasi Legal Cell, working with an objective to provide pro bono legal aid to the weaker sections from the migrant community. Advocate Jose is also serving as the chairman of the Pedia Institute for Training and Research in Social Sciences, New Delhi. He is consultant and legal advisor to many reputed NGOs and educational institutions. Advocate Jose holds postgraduate degree in both law and political science and is working on Indian migration laws as part of his PhD research. Please welcome Advocate Jose Ibrahim to give the presidential address.
Namaskaram and good evening to one and all from Delhi, all the dignitaries on the dais and off the dais, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, let me congratulate PLC Bahrain chapter headed by Mr. Sudhir Thirunalat and all the esteemed members of Pravasi Legal Cell Bahrain chapter for conducting such a wonderful discourse on the topic connecting people. I hope and trust that this would be a wonderful platform for the migrants in Bahrain to clarify their doubts on legal aspect along with their medical concerns. My special thanks to Kim's Health for supporting us. Friends, I wish you all the very best wishes. Thank you and Jai Hind.
So I hope all are ready to go ahead with the much awaited and the highlighted program of this evening. That's the talk show. And to conduct the talk show, Today, we have with us a renowned senior journalist in Bahrain, Mrs. Raji Unikrishnan. She has spent a productive and successful journey of more than 2 decades in Bahrain. She is a member of PLC Governing Council, currently engaged with Bahrain This Week and Migrants' Rights. She has actively dedicated herself in social scenes of Bahrain, primarily amidst expatriates. Please welcome Mrs. Raji Unikrishnan to start the much-awaited talk show of the evening.
Thank you, Preeti, for that generous introduction. Good evening, one and all. Welcome to this event. On that note, it gives me immense pride to be standing before you to host the 5th talk show held by Pravasi Legal Cell. Pravasi Legal Cell, as you must have heard from its president and from the country head, as well as the governing council and the Preeti, the MC for the day, we cater to the legal assistance side. We cater legal assistance to all nationals, migrants, expatriates in this part of the world. That is the mandate of Pravasi Legal Cell. And it's with much pride that I say in the last 1 year of establishment of Bahrain chapter of PLC, we have concluded more than 20 cases in the country, very needy cases, thanks to the support of our 8 panels, lawyers on the panel, both Bahraini and Indian panel. And also thanks to the support of the embassies, various embassies, the testament to which we have the representatives of almost all the sending country embassy representatives here. And always thankful to the Labor and Social Development Minister. Thanks, Mr. Hussaini, for making it today. On that note, I would go into my responsibility for the day, that is to host this talk show titled Safe Migration. According to international definitions, migration is moving from your country to another country for reasons. It can be many. And this word is quite common these days because people migrate for their own reasons. Migration is just human. We migrate for well-being. There are different theories and different arguments coming up that why do people migrate if your own country is self-sustained? Well, that's a different topic totally. But people do migrate. And what is safe migration? Safe migration is ensuring that this whole process of moving from your home country to a foreign country is safe, is secure, and it is an enjoyable experience totally. At the end of the day, none of us want this trouble of moving from your home country and struggling in another country. So this involves various stakeholders, including me, the migrant, my government, the people who lead me to another country, the people on that country, the government of that country, the lawyers, the society, the social engagement, the network, everyone. So this evening, we are going to discuss this very important topic, safe migration, and with me is a grand panel. I have 5 people on board with me as you see the chair. This is the first ever 5-member panel that I'm hosting. We usually limit to 4, but I'm very happy that people have come forward to this. Let me introduce my panelists and I would welcome them on board. To begin with, an eminent lawyer who's got an experience of more than 4 decades in the country, who's been very active on the social front. Nobody in this country needs an introduction to Advocate V.K. Thomas, who is with us this evening. Let's put our hands together and welcome Mr. V.K. Thomas. Next, I have a very elegant Bahraini lawyer with me. I'm very happy, the only female panelist along with me. Advocate Wafa Al-Ansari, a Bahraini advocate who is licensed to appear in all courts of Bahrain, including the Court of Cassation. Let's give a bigger round of applause to Advocate Wafa Al-Ansari. And yes, we have a budding lawyer, a very young and elegant advocate, Mohammed Maklouk, a trainee lawyer who works alongside Advocate Wafa. Please put your hands together for Advocate Mohammed. Good evening, Mr. Rahman. Thanks for joining us. Now we have a representative from the Nepali community, the Nepali GFON Support Group President and Patron of the Nepali Club, and as well as the Non-Resident Nepalese Association in Bahrain, Mr. Chabilal. And last but not least, I have the liaison officer for Kenyan Embassy, George Muturi, who's been here for Bahrain for 16 years. And he comes with an experience from all walks in front of his people, because he also serves as a pastor, as a Christian leader in one of his church. Now on that, allow me to take my seat. We hope to take this talk around through these 5 panelists, talking from the aspect of migration to the GCC countries. Migration is a big word, it's an international word. Anyone moving from their home country is a migrant. But we would limit this discussion to the GCC countries, and more specifically to Bahrain, to deal with. And we hope this show to continue for 30 minutes, and then we leave the floor open, because we have eminent lawyers, government representatives, as well as public who would be wanting to raise your questions. Though I defined migration in my own way, from a layman's point of view, Advocate Thomas, I'll begin with you. Could you please explain the concept of migration to us? What does migration or safe migration mean, and why is it important to ensure safe migration?
Thank you, Raji, for the nice introduction and giving me an opportunity to answer the question first. Safe migration simply means you have to comply with the laws of the country from where you are coming and the laws of the country to which you are coming. That means if you are coming from India, you must follow the laws of India. They have very clearly defined the laws and regulations to follow when you are migrating to another country. In Bahrain, all of us know we have a well-defined labor law, LMRA rules and regulations. If you follow all this, it becomes a safe migration. In Bahrain, to be safe migration, if you are coming to Bahrain to work, you must have a labor contract. That is the basic need. If you have a labor contract, then there will be a visa for you to come here and work. See, that contract will define your basic rights. Some companies do not say obligations, but if you look at, they make a reference to the labor law. So the labor law, Bahrain is well developed. There was one in 76. In 2012, they modified it. They made a worker friendly, I must say. Because why I said that, in GCC countries, Bahrain is the first one to include domestic workers. That means even the rules and regulations to bring in domestic workers are governed by the labor law, except few provisions which are not applicable to them, like for example working hours. When you are working at a home, you cannot expect that it can be 8 hours from 8 to 1, 4 to 7, so that kind of things. Otherwise all, Mr. Hussain, you want to say something? So otherwise all rules and regulations and the legal provisions are applicable to those who are coming into the country to work. If you follow that, there are obligations also on the part of the employees. There are rights and obligations. People only sometimes look at the rights only, they don't look at the obligation. Obligation means you have to follow the rules and regulation in your own country as well as in the host country. Then you are safe. The definition you have already given. Definition is not that important. If I say safe migration means what? This is what is safe migration. You follow the rules and regulations of your host country and the country from where you are coming, then you are safe. For if I take my example, I came in 1977. Those days there were even contracts, agreements. You have to register with the government, and I deposited my return airfare with the Immigration Directorate in India. That was the strict rules in those days. But then came liberalization and a lot of things came. Now I don't think that policy is there. I think I leave it here, right? Thank you. Otherwise, I go on talking.
Thank you, Thomas, for giving that introduction. Yes, as what Thomas rightly said, it's not the definition of migration, but how well you implement it or how you follow the rules and regulations. That's very important in safe migration. And hats off to this beautiful country, which has its law in place, which has an employee and employer-friendly, a balanced system. We move to Advocate Wafa about your country and the law. Thomas just explained about the law of the land. As an advocate, as a Bahraini lawyer who represents in all the courts of the country, what are the common types of migration issues that you see? Like, what are the problems that you come across in your day-to-day life?
Actually, most of the cases are the labor issues. And even usually in the open house, we are going to the Indian embassy. Most of them, you know, like some of them like salaries not paid, some, you know, like labor cases, most of them. And mostly it will be solved, you know. And it's very important that the laborers, when they will come to Bahrain, they have to know the law. What is exactly the law, labor law? So they will know what is their rights, and that time it won't be any issue, you know.
Thank you, Advocate Wafa. I missed in her introduction, she's also the on board the Indian Embassy's lawyer panel. So she is aware of the situations that we face among the largest community, which is the Indian community, followed by the other communities, of course. Now we move to Advocate Mohammed. Maybe you can add to what Advocate Wafa said. Labor issues are common. Bahrain is home to expats. It's a welcoming country. We're all living here. This is our second home. But then it's natural to have labor issues because not everybody is the same. Every employer need not be the same. So labor issues are common. And as Advocate Wafa said, we get resolved. Most of these cases are resolved. But when things get more tangled, that is, when legalities go out of the hand, like what do you suggest?
Yes, nice to meet you all, and I'm very proud to sit and speak here. Okay, the biggest problem is when you go and work in a company without a visa, and the LMRA come and find you that you are working without a visa. There is no solution back later for you, like even legally, we cannot, because they will take you out of the country. Yeah. So please make sure if you're gonna work in anywhere, okay, just have a visa, okay, to be safe for yourself. And that's the most issue, that we cannot have a solution for the employers when they caught from LMRA that they don't have a visa. When it goes to court, there is no any solutions. Yes.
So I think all the three lawyers gave the legalities. They placed down the legalities that you need to live by the law. You have to abide by the law of the land. Now we come to the community representatives who can talk to us about the problems that they face on the ground. Like Mr. Chabilal, you represent the Nepali community, again, a large community in the country, which includes blue-collar workers as well. And there are a lot of issues that you might face. How would you reflect on safe migration practices in your community, please? क्या problems face करते हो आप अपने community में? अभी जो हमने बताया, वो जो lawyers के तरफ से उसने बोला कि law को follow करना immediately urgent है. लेकिन आपको अपने community में क्या-क्या problems face करते हैं? Migration के लिए.
Thank you, madam. हम लोग ये सब अपने माइग्रेंट कम्युनिटी से एकदम ये डोमेस्टिक वर्कर, कंपनी का वर्कर, ये लोग को जहाँ जहाँ समस्या है, जिधर समस्या है, वो कंपनी में हो सके हम लोग जाके भी उधर सॉल्व करते हैं, बात करते हैं, क्या हो गया, कैसा हो गया. अगर हम लोग से नहीं होने वाला है, हम लोग का अभी एम्बेसी इधर है, दूतावास है, हम लोग दूतावास को भी इन्फॉर्म करते हैं. और इधर फिर हम लोग को ये जी फंड में भी हम लोग बात करते हैं, जी फंड में भी हम लोग जाते हैं, उधर से भी हम लोग को हेल्प मिलता है। अभी पहले से जब भी मैं इधर बहरीन में 92 में आया, तभी से लेकर 2000 तक बहुत मुश्किल था। ना तो इधर हम लोग का कोई कम्युनिटी था, ना हम लोग का इधर एमबीसी था। उसी टाइम में हम लोग 2-4 आदमी, कभी किधर आदमी लोग गिर गया, कभी आदमी को मार लग गया, कोई कंपनी सैलरी नहीं दिया, फिर भी हम लोग जाके वो लोग से रिक्वेस्ट करके वो काम करता था। अभी कितना आदमी एक्सीडेंट हो गया, उसका भी हम लोग ये हाई कोर्ट में, लेबर कोर्ट में जाके वो लोग का केस जो है सॉल्व किया हुआ है। अभी 2000 में हम लोग नेपाली क्लब बोल के एक लीगल क्लब है, वो स्थापना होने के बाद में हम लोग को कम्युनिटी जास्ती हो गया। इसके बाद हम लोग इंडियन कम्युनिटी से भी हम लोग को ज्वाइन हो गया, इसलिए काम करने के लिए इजी है। उसके बाद में तो अभी हम लोग का दूतावास एमबीसी इधर आया हुआ है, इसलिए हम लोग को और भी अच्छा है। हम लोग से हो सकता है, हम लोग करता है। अगर हम लोग से नहीं हुआ, हम अपना दूतावास में बात करते हैं और जी फंड में भी बात करते हैं। इसलिए अभी हम लोग को वर्कर लोग के लिए इतना समस्या जो है नहीं है। लेकिन इस बीच में जो है मैं दूसरा बात क्या बोलना चाहता हूँ, हम लोग का लेबर लोग का सैलरी 60, 70, 80 है। अभी पहला गवर्नमेंट हॉस्पिटल का इंश्योरेंस था, उधर मेडिकल चेकअप वगैरह मेडिसिन सब फ्री था। अभी प्राइवेट हॉस्पिटल में होने का कारण, एक तो हम लोग जो उधर जाएगा 3BD देना मानता, तब जाके जो है उधर जो है हम लोग का फाइल ओपन होएगा। उसके बाद कोई मेडिसिन ऐसा है, वो मेडिसिन के लिए हम लोग अलग से भी पैसा देना मानता। और इसलिए हम सोचते हैं अगर आप लोग से या आप लोग का तरफ से इसके लिए भी थोड़ा कुछ सहज हो जाएगा, या हॉस्पिटल से जो है ठीक है इंश्योरेंस हॉस्पिटल लेता है, लेकिन उसको वो 3BD भी इंक्लूडिंग करके कंपनी से लेगा तो अच्छा है ना। अभी उसी टाइम तो हमारा 3BD भी गया, उसका बाद में प्लस छुट्टी भी नहीं देता है, और 2-3BD वो भी गया। तो इसलिए हम लोग का ये वर्कर लोग के लिए ये समस्या ज़्यादा होता है। इसलिए माइग्रेन आप लोग तो बड़ा कम्युनिटी है, हम लोग छोटा कम्युनिटी वाला है, इतना हम लोग आगे जाके बात भी नहीं कर सकता है। आप लोग का तरफ से होएगा तो ये भी थोड़ा आप लोग ये बात के लिए आगे बढ़ाएंगे तो शुक्रिया होएगा। धन्यवाद, थैंक यू।
थैंक यू शबीलाल जी। ये इश्यू में बड़ा कम्युनिटी छोटा कम्युनिटी ऐसे कोई बात नहीं। आई वुड जस्ट ट्रांसलेट व्हाट ही सेड फॉर द नॉन हिंदी स्पीकर्स. He did say that the Nepali community, they don't have many such cases, but they do have cases which they usually try to resolve through their network, like the GFON, the Nepali Club, etc. If they find it difficult, they take it up with their embassy, which is very supportive, that's what we said. But the point that he raised is about the medical support. He feels that, there should be, because most of the Nepali workers, as he said, earn 60 to 70 dinars a month. And for those workers, going to a hospital and having to pay from their pocket is becoming very difficult. Well, I don't think that we can discuss in this platform, but definitely I would request the head of the PLC as well as Mr. Hussaini and the lawyers here to take it up. And Advocate Mohammed, would you like to add to it, please?
I want to add something on the visa. I want to show you how it's important for you. Okay. For example, if you work in a company without a visa and they terminated you, okay, and you go bring a claim in the court, okay, you will not have your rights. See how it's important for you, your visa. The visa is the most important for you to save you and save your rights. And this country is a very peaceful country, and it will give you your rights. You are most welcome in Bahrain. Thank you so much.
Yes, Advocate Mohammed has underlined the need for abiding by the law, which we could connect to what Mr. Chabilal raised the issue. Like, if you are legal in the country, then everything falls in place. You can get your rights, even if it is health or legal assistance. Thank you for raising that issue, Mr. Chabilal. We move to Mr. George, representing the Kenyan community. What would you like to share with us, Mr. George, on the same issue? On the same issues that we are discussing about migration issues in your community.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you, and thank you for giving me this opportunity, and also for the management which have come with such brilliant idea for expressing ourselves. First of all, I will highlight about medical coverage, and that is medical insurance. You will find maybe mostly for the domestic workers. That is the most areas that I have faced a lot of difficulties on the ground. And as I talk, I am talking not only on behalf of Kenyans, but as African community in Bahrain, because Africa we are one. Most challenges comes from the domestic workers. When they are sick, you find that the sponsors, they are not understanding them in some situations. And you find that they are calling for help to go to the hospital because sometimes they complain that they are getting not the proper medication. Maybe they have been given painkillers. And unless then when we come in and we request the sponsor to take them directly to the hospitals. The other thing is for those who are working outside there, mostly in the security department, we do understand that there are in, outside, like in exposed areas, there is a lot of, there is a dust, there is a condition of the climate. And you'll find that maybe when they want to take the sick leave or to go to the hospital, you find there is some difficulties in between of the companies. And I will come back to my brother here. It is good when they have assigned a contract and the visas because, we do advise them to get the sick leave because if you don't have a sick leave, you cannot be able to claim your days. And we also thank the hospitals in Bahrain because doctors, before you leave the hospital, they will ask you, can I give you the medical leave? And we highly appreciate on that support. But the other areas is about the leave. You find that many, when they want to get their, when they finish the contract, some they want to get their leaves. You find there is some areas, difficulties in between of the companies. Not all the companies, as you know, in 100 there is one which is not right. And also we want to thank the lawyers because sometimes when we call them, they come in and they help. And the one thing I can thank the government of Bahrain is that they give us a fair treat. It does not matter whether it is the company or the expatriates, they treat us equally. But one thing we can continually, the problem that we are facing most is about counting the indemnity. You find that because the expatriates does not understand how to calculate, and maybe because of the rate of the company or the, when the forces comes or the voice comes from the management, if such a person is coward, cannot speak out, and cannot know contact of the, maybe of the embassies, because for example, like a Kenyan community and many African countries, they don't have the embassies in Bahrain. So we rely with the RMRI, Labor Ministry and the lawyers, those who are our great help. You find that if such a person does not have that to air her voice, he will go back to her mother, or his motherland country without getting the indemnity and the wages. And I have found that many, they travel and, they will be told, we will send you the money when you are in your country. But what we usually advise them is, get your money, get your wages before leaving the country. Because whatever it will happen the other side, it will be a long process getting the lawyers from your country, sending to the lawyers of Bahrain, lawyers of Bahrain going to the court. It's a long process. So the many challenges you are facing is, one is the health, second is about the wages, and the third is about their leaves. And the fourth one, and the most key important, is about filing runaway cases. And mostly, like me, I am a frontier, and I have been in Bahrain for 16 years, helping Africans for free without any payment. But you find I am working, I'm employed with a company, the other things I'm doing, but recognized by my government of Kenya. I have an ID from our embassy, as a representative officially. But you find when we, maybe the police, they will call us, and we thank the police of Bahrain because any case goes there, they will call us. The first thing is to call us. When I go to the police station, the sponsor goes to the MRI and presses the runaway case. And it happened with my own biological sister who is in Bahrain. When I am in the police station, the lawyer was in the MRI pressing the runaway case. If you go to the MRI first, they will go to the police station and file another case. It's like a hide and seek game. So what I did for my own, and I will give this from my own biological sister who is here. The sponsor calls the police in the house. They pick my sister from the house. And then it is the order, the call from the sponsor, calling the police. They took the girl from the house to hit police station. And when I reached the hit police station, the sponsor learned to MRI, reported the runaway case, and he filed a case in hit police station. So I managed to light as a witness in the hit police station. And sorry for taking this time because it is very essential that I would like the government of Bahrain to look about this issue. I left there, I went to Sahela. I found there is a runaway case. So, to make it short, I managed to remove the runaway case. They understood because I went there with the OB number. And what I can advise is, it is good to every expatriate to file the case in the police station in the right away and get the OB number. And by that, we agreed with the MRI. If they see and there is assurance, I want to thank and I want to thumbs up the MRI because they have officials, those who understand that today my sister, the case, she don't have the case in the police station, and in the MRI it was removed, and today she have a visa legally in Bahrain. So that is the area that I would like anyone among us who have a say to look about that issue. It is killing us on the ground. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. George. I think you have a bag full of issues. You just clubbed it all together. You mentioned many different points. I would now request the mic to be passed on to the veteran on board with us, who is already smiling about all those cases that you discussed. Mr. Thomas, would you address those issues? He spoke about indemnity, leave, wages, and of all, he spoke about runaway. When you say runaway, I'm reminded of our former chief of the LMRA, Osama Al-Absi. He used to always say there is nothing called runaway in our labor law. There is no phrase called runaway. Please don't call them runaways. Because people leave because of a certain condition. I really remember him and I respect him so much. That was very true of him. Thomas, would you like to address the concerns of Brother George, please? Thank you.
See, I think you raised the issue of non-payment of wages, correct? Now, your people coming from your own country, are they coming under a contract of employment or just coming here without a contract or a visa?
They have contract back home, and when they live here, they have been given a contract. And in some places that when they come and they find this is the salary, they will say yes. But when they are finishing the contract, they will be told, no, this was not your basic. So they change the term.
Okay, I understood. See, rather than solving the problem in Bahrain, in my experience with one country, I tell you, they have a very strict labor law, labor contract, which is attested by their embassy here. And they will not allow anyone to change, which is filed with the LMRA. When you apply for a work permit, you file this contract with LMRA, and if anyone comes and asks you, you have to sign another contract, you must tell your people not to sign. Okay? That is the basic thing you must explain to your people. Don't sign many contracts. See, when an employer wants a permit in Bahrain, they have to file a contract with LMRA, and they have a copy of it. Anytime if the court asks or the authorities ask, if I go and ask, they will not give. But if the authorities ask, they give you a copy. Okay? So, once your people are here, if you can communicate the message, tell them not to sign duplicate contracts. I know it may be sometimes difficult. I am not practically. I know sometimes it is difficult, but as much as possible, give awareness not to do it. And another thing is, you must come on a contract. You should not come here. For example, we are hearing these days people are coming on visit visas. See, visit visa is not meant for coming here and finding jobs. Although there are loopholes, people are using it, but you advise your people not to come to Bahrain to look for a job on a visit visa. Because now Bahrain liberalized, because they want to improve tourism. They don't want to improve people coming here and looking for jobs and ending up in problems. The visa liberalization is made to promote the country and it, tourism, business, everything. But our people, expatriates, are using it to come here and find jobs. That is wrong. We should not do that. If you are coming into a country to work, and the aim is to work, follow the rules. You must convey these messages to your people and tell your government that not send anybody into Bahrain without a contract. I think the ministry officials are here, so they can add, if they want to add something. I think you have to give the mic to Mr. Hussaini, please. Yeah, if you don't mind, just because I'm a lawyer, they might feel that I am giving something. You just tell them how they should come, that's all, more, nothing more.
Actually, who's coming for visit visa, the government, it is say clearly, not allowed you to work while you are coming for visit visa. While you get a contract, then you can work, and you will get all rights. Bahrain law, it is very strict, and it is show all things. And the contract, it is very clearly how much your wages after the many years, how much your indemnity. Depends of years of working of your contract. For example, now it is in the LMRA, it is allow you 1 year, 2 years, 6 months even, okay? Some of the company, they are only have short contract with another company, so they are only bring for short contract 6 months, I mean, okay? If the 6 months finish, they will return back them to their country. But with a contract, there is a contract, it is downloaded on the LMRA system. Anybody who has a contract, he can go, LMRA, ask about their contract, they will give. Even your company must have given you the copy of contract. And from that, you have a right to ask your indemnity, your wages, your everything's. You can ask for that.
Thank you, Mr. Hussaini. I will tell you. Yeah.
But be clearly, no one coming, because I see lots when we are go for inspection. We found somebody who, because I'm doing in health and safety. Okay, when we go and inspect and we see some accident happen. They are coming, they say he's coming to visit his friend. How he's coming to visit his friend in 8th floor or 9th floor? It is not correct. So he is working with them. Okay, he's coming visit visa. Visit visa, it is mentioned strictly not to work.
Thank you, Mr. Hussaini. And labor law clearly says the number of days you get leave and the indemnity. That is 30 days per year of service, you get 30 days leave. That is 2.5 days per month. Indemnity is first 3 years half salary, and after 3 years it is 1 month salary. That also, please keep in mind, it is on the basic salary. The salary which is registered with the LMRA. If you are getting 200 and your salary registered with LMRA is 50, you will get only 150. So these are the points if you can communicate to your members, because if you go and fight with LMRA, I have to receiving 200, unless you are able to show from the day you landed in Bahrain up to the date the contract is terminated, you are getting 200 through the bank, then you can fight. You have an yeah, it's already connected, and if there is bank also connected. Now the bank, LMRA, GOSI, everything is connected. They know each other how much is being paid. So you get your entitlement on the basic wage.
I think all the viewpoints from Advocate Thomas and Mr. Hussaini is all coming back to what Mr. Mohammed said in the beginning. You need to have a contract, and that too, which is endorsed by the country. Yes, and duplication of contracts should be avoided. Both the officials just mentioned that it is available on the LMRA. Whether you get a contract or not, it is available, and you can always demand it. Once you have a contract in place, yes, everything falls in place, and that is one of the basics that we should ensure for safe migration. Advocate Wafa, you must be dealing with several labor cases, and we all unanimously agree that we need to have a contract to avoid any such issues. Still, you work with a lot of Indians, isn't it? Still, there are so many people ending up in the country without a contract. Why? Why do you think so? What is the pattern that you observe? Who puts them into this trouble? Is it their ignorance, or is it some people in the middle, or is it the sending country or the receiving country? What is in your observation? Why do people end up without contracts?
Yeah, actually, any person wants to travel and go to other country, they have to be aware and they have to have the knowledge that, okay, if I'm going to this country, what are the rules? What is the law? So they have to read about everything, and they have to go to the correct agencies. Some of the agencies, they will offer them, like you will go to Bahrain, for example. You will go to Bahrain, you will get this much salary, and at the end, he's coming and, yeah, it's different, exactly. So when they want to go to any agency, it has to be official agency. And they have to, as I told you, they have to read. They have to be aware about all the laws in that country. So this is very important.
A very valid point raised by Advocate Wafa. Would my friend Advocate Madhavan Kallath want to add to that point, because you work with the Migrant Workers Protection Society. We just heard about situations where people end up without a contract simply because they don't read about the country that they're coming to or going to the wrong agents. Would you like to comment on that, sir, please?
What's happening is, though we talk about all this and we try to create an awareness among people, nobody listens to us. Everybody thinks, whatever is the agent tells, or mostly the agents, whatever they tell is the gospel truth. And many of them are like it was discussed earlier, they come on a visit visa. And coming on a visit visa and working is a rampant thing. Educated people are coming, and people, like Wafa said, they don't read the law. They have no clue what is happening here. I can understand an uneducated person coming without knowledge of the law or requirement of the contract. How does educated people come and get into this trap? It's something which basically it's maybe in desperation they come, they don't find a job in their country, they come here. Ignorance for educated people now, how do you explain that? That's a problem. And one point which Mohammed he mentioned was about that not getting salary when you are not, when you don't have a valid visa. Now, when you say a valid visa should be with the company which is employing you. You cannot have a valid visa with a company and work with another company. That will not be treated as a valid visa. Of late, there have been judgments that whenever there is a you working with they used to call it free visa. I issue a visa to you and then you go and work with Thomas. He doesn't give you a visa. And tomorrow you claim the money, you won't get it. So these are things which we should, I think the orientation program, right, before they leave the country and after they come to the country, that system should be there. The social organizations should take it up, the NGOs, and the government. Some of the governments are doing it. I think there should be a concerted effort by all the interested people in this.
Community representatives, that we need to educate people, educate our people before they come to a foreign country to know about where they are coming, what are they going to work, are they clear about their working condition, the milieu, etc., which can save a lot of migration issues, I think. Can we hear from the Honorable First Secretary of the Indian Embassy, please? Shuklaji, would you like to add your thoughts on safe migration, especially related to Indians in Bahrain, please?
Hello, good evening all of you. Thank you for giving the opportunity to say something from my side. I work as a community officials in Indian Embassy. I come to work issues which the workers are facing. As you, Lord has said, some people are asked, means offered to visit visa to come Bahrain, and the sponsors have given them offer of appointment on the promise that to come here and we will convert the visa into work permit, resident permit, I mean say work visa. So due to some legalities, some issues, they are not able to convert the work visa into work permit. Visit visa into work permit. In such situation, suppose something happened which is unwanted. In that case, who should be responsible for the welfare of the so-called, I mean, victims and deceased? Because the person who has been migrated from home country to host country was asked, I mean to say, allegedly asked to visit on visit visa and reportedly offered job and promised to convert the visa into visit visa into work permit. And this happened during the meantime. In that situation, who should be responsible for, I mean to say, from A to Z?
If I understood right, I would just
what I understood from Mr. Shuklaji is, if a person, some companies in Bahrain offer a person, you come here, we give you a job. Then they send them a visit visa. Am I right? Yes. And his question is, if that person come here and the people who offered him the job is not able to obtain a work permit, and in the interim period, for example, he just come for 1 week or 1 month or anything, if anything happens to him, who will be responsible? My answer to this question is, if a company under their own sponsorship bring a person to Bahrain, that company is responsible. If, on the other hand, the person using the facility offered by the government by getting entry visa, I think online you can obtain visa from India to come, for example, India to come to work, e-visas. Okay, for I think up to 1 year multiple they are allowing. If he comes on that visa, the person who is coming is responsible. If that person is no more there, so it should be his family or the home country embassy. I know the answer will not, Shuklaji will not agree with it, but that is the question. Answer. Yeah, this is what it is, because you cannot ask the government in Bahrain to do anything because he voluntarily came into. Yeah, that is what I answered. I hope I am correct. So in any country, see, if I go on visit to America, they tell me take insurance. If I go to Canada, they make me to do insurance, even for health. All European countries, they have requirements. I think in India, there is insurance for people who are coming to work.
I'm not sure that I'm right or wrong. If someone's coming on, someone comes on work, then the insurance is applicable for them as per the contract.
Yeah.
But if someone is on visit visa, I don't think it is applicable for that.
That's what I am saying. Other countries have already implemented the requirement that if you are coming into our country, you should have an insurance. Like America, I said, Canada, European countries, they all ask for travel insurance for during the time you are in that country. That means to cover any unfortunate event. Now, if an Indian coming into Bahrain on a e-visa, right? E-visa, government don't know. He may be coming to stay in a hotel. He may be coming to stay with anyone. It is not the responsibility of the Bahrain. It is the responsibility of the person who is coming. And if he is no more there, our country has to take care of. Because you cannot ask Bahrain government to do anything because they don't have any responsibility on them. As a national of any country, no, I am not particular about India, other countries also, if they are coming, their own country should be responsible to take back the mortal remains of the person back to India, if they need. Otherwise, here government will do other formalities and they criminate here. This all will happen.
In the context, I have some, we will say, honest question, not next question, honest question. I think the doubt which I am going to ask may have someone here itself. I don't want to quote name. There was some instance, the person was here on work visa. He had completed 3-4 years. After some time, he missed from his workplace. It's more than around 1 year going on. In that cases, the person, if his person missing, what is the course of action for embassy or for the sponsors?
See, sponsor is responsible. I'll answer you. The sponsor is responsible. Because LMRA rule also says you cannot.
But how long it will be missing?
See, this is a government machinery, sir. I cannot answer the time it is taking or anything. I can only say the legal provisions applicable here. If I bring a man to work for me, and if he is missing from my house or office, I am responsible. Where my responsibility ends, if I file a complaint in the police station that my staff or my employee is missing, my responsibility stops there. I cannot do anything more. Then the government of the host country, where he came legally, not illegally, legally, so they will do their own investigations and they have to do something.
But see, complaint has been lost. Government is doing all investigations, searching. Sponsor is also searching, but even then it's missing. They are missing.
Sir, I have no answer if anybody has an answer. I don't want to speculate. That's why I stop here. If any of my panel members or audience want to answer, they can answer. I have no answer for, because you know the system. It takes its own time to find any case, close the case, find people. All this is within the government machinery, which we don't have any control.
That's
you agree?
right.
You agree?
I agree. I agree with you because I've been on such panels. It can be back and forth and it's a vicious circle, as we all agree. And I know there are many questions that can come up from the audience related to this topic of relevance. Unfortunately, this 1 hour is not enough to take through the discussion. We're almost finished an hour. And I know it's time. But still, I may want to hear one last round from all the panelists before. Are there any questions from the audience, please? I see a hand up there, back.
All protocols observed. Good evening. Now I have 3 questions. Now, you mentioned that when somebody comes into the country, they should have a contract of which they should not sign another contract. Now, when you're applying from your mother country, for a job through an agent, and the agent gives you a contract that reads something else, and you reach here and your sponsor tells you, no, that's not the right contract. This is now the correct contract. If you refuse, they will tell you, you're already here, so what do you do about it? Next, my second question is, if the visa is given is a visit visa, from your country of origin, maybe you've never traveled, and then the agent gives you a visit visa telling you when you reach the country of where you're going, it's going to be changed into a work visa, of which I think some visas show visit visa as in 90 days or something, I don't know. I'm not so sure. I'll request for just elaboration or something. And then my third question. If the sponsor gives you a wrong visa, we've seen several times or with several people that somebody goes to, after you finish your contract with the other company and they give you a NOC, no objection, and you go and look for another job. When you get to the other job, you're given a visa, of which this visa does not read the same job you're doing there. And LMRA comes and arrests you. Okay, who has the mistake? And what should you do about it? Are you going to be penalized as an innocent person, or you're going to be penalized as somebody that has no knowledge? Thank you.
For the last question about when LMRA comes and quotes you and you have a different visa, okay? I think the requirements of the LMRA that you put your phone number, so when the sponsor cancel your visa, you will get a message on your phone that you know that your visa is being cancelled. So when the LMRA comes to your place and find you working without the right visa on the right company, okay, legally it's very hard to prove, okay, that the sponsor has cheated on you and give you a different visa. If you can prove that the sponsor cheated on you and gave you the wrong visa, the court will judge for you to go free. But if you cannot prove it, they will take you out of the country. Yes.
See, I think the first question was about the contract. Your agent giving a contract in your home country and another contract when you are here. See, I can only advise you, you have to go use a government approved agent. And I am practically, I understand what you are speaking. But from a legal point of view, I can only say that you must make sure with the agent that I will not sign any more contract. Or the contract must be signed by the Bahraini employer, not the agent. If the agent sign, India I know, the agent should have a notarized power of attorney from Bahrain, from the employer, giving you the contract and getting your signature. See, I know these are difficult for employees to follow all this. The advice I can give you, and you can pass on to your members, is if you are signing anything with the agent, it must be on behalf of the Bahraini employer and on his letterhead and on a power of attorney or a government document. You know, there are employment contract can be made on the letterhead, even plain paper, but you must ensure that the agreement is signed by an authorized person on behalf of the Bahrain entity. So, if you come here with that, LMRA will accept that contract. If you have something signed by the agent on his letterhead saying you will get X, Y, Z, that is not acceptable, although the Bahraini employer must have filed a contract with the LMRA to get your visa. So you can insist on your agent to give me the agreement signed by the Bahraini employer and filed with the LMRA to get my permit. I know it is difficult to follow, but this is the only advice I can give you. Now your second question was non-payment of, no, not salary, right? The visit, I will answer the visit visa. As already explained, we already explained I think many times here, you are not allowed to work if you are coming on a visit visa. So you must tell your agent, I am not going. If you give me a work visa, I will go. If you give me a visit visa, I will not go. That also practically I know as an employee looking for a job, it is difficult. Legally I can only tell you, insist on a work visa. It can be 6 months as Hussaini says, or 1 year, or 2 years. Maximum is 2. Minimum 6 months and maximum is 2. So this is the advice I can give you, but may be difficult to follow. The third question was the profession on the work permit. See, if you are qualified enough to check papers, you can check. If you are working as a secretary or a whatever position, you must make sure that the permit is same and you are working in the same place for which they have taken the permit. That means if you have taken a visa for a office number 1 and this position is secretary, you must be in office number 1 and work as a secretary. Yeah, everything is in the, it is already, everything is on the computer. You can even write your CPR number and you can check the validity of your visa, your position, your employer. All this basic data is already on the internet. And for people, these days, internet, everything is there. Even if you search Bahrain labor law, my rights, everything comes in one sheet. Yeah. It's very easy to find. And
it is in LMRA, it is mentioned clear. Just put, if you have CBR number, you put your CBR number, it will be show where you are and what position, which company. Even if you don't have CBR number, you have passport number. From the passport number and your nationality, you will get all information. It is very,
very open and transparent.
Open in Bahrain. Everything is available, not same as before. All available, all information, all data, it is available. But in this preposition period, you will shift from one employer to another employer. Be sure not to work until you get a visa. If you are work and LMRA they catch you, sure they will take the action, and if the employer change your visa, you will be stay with him. Otherwise, you will be arrested and leave the Bahrain.
I have got 2 points to be clarified. Number one, somebody mentioned about the contract being replaced. Thomas clarified that you should have the contract which is filed with the LMRA. If the employee applies with the LMRA, approach the LMRA, they will give a copy of that contract. Many times what happens is the employer has given one contract to the employee before leaving the country, and he has filed another contract with a forged signature. He is not signed by the employee. In such cases, the employee can always file a police complaint that my signature is forged. Of course, all these complaints which we are talking about, Thomas is laughing. We are talking about this legally, but actually when you go to file a complaint, what will happen is you will lose your job. Then you should be prepared for that. Number two, about the permission to work with another company. No employer has a right to give permission to work in another company. That is LMRA's job. There is a provision for that. If you want to work with another company, the current company can give an online mobility, and the new company has to apply for a visa and then get the visa, then you can go and join there. You cannot say my employer has given me permission, so that's why I'm working. LMRA will say then what is our job? If you internally start doing that.
Sorry, can I add on the same point?
He has a question on.
Yeah, I have direct question to him. Yeah, it happens that one sponsor have a different two CRs, two different businesses, and the employee is working in this company, but the sponsor tells the employee, no, you have to go to work in the other business of, which is the sponsor is one, but the CRs are different. And it happens now the MRI comes and fights that person in the other business, but the same sponsor. The problem is the employee knows that this is my boss and looks the position, but maybe fails to understand the naming of the CRs.
I get your point. Now, LMRA takes a very strict view about it. If there is a change in the CR number, then it is a different company because it's not based on the ownership. Now, I have two companies. One is, say, CR number 101. Another company, CR number 154. These are two different companies. So if my employee in 101 goes and works with 154, LMRA will catch up. But if it's the same branch of a same CR, the LMRA may consider at the discretion of the inspector. You cannot be sure of that. One more point which I have to add is, just because you are working with the same employer, you are not, if you continue to work after the visa is expired, people are under the misconception that if I am working with the same employer, my visa is expired, I can continue to work. You will not be able to claim the salary for the period for which you didn't have a valid visa, even with the same sponsor.
What if in the, sorry, because is this important? What if the employee, the sponsor cuts, maybe closes one business and transfer the sponsor, the employee to his own business before the contract?
He has to get a visa for that.
Will the indemnity continue?
He has to get a visa for that. You have to follow the mobility procedure, get a visa under the new CR. Same employer.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, because it happens and they don't compensate the indemnity when they transfer them to the same sponsor. They deny them the indemnity and then they start another new contract with other new terms. So RMRI, you can check on that, please. It is important.
All these lawyers are available with the PLC, so anybody has any detailed, independent, individual cases, we can arrange that. We'll just take 3 questions because the hands were already up. We'll first take the questions from all of them, and then we see if it's a common, we can answer. We'll go to this gentleman here first, and then.
Good evening, everyone. I'm from the Action Committee of MWPS, Migrant Workers Protection Society. I don't have a question, I just have a request. And what I want to point out is just 2 things. The first point is talking on behalf of the visiting visa not allowed to work. Now, in being in Action Committee for MWPS, I've had funny cases. For example, I'll outline one. A case where someone is brought to Bahrain by a member of a reputable family, for example. Okay, and he is brought under his or her sponsorship. That when I'm bringing you as a member of a good family here, I will not mention the name, and once you will work under my company, and as you work under my company, I'm going to change your visa later to work visa. Now, when this visit visa gets expired, this reputable family member will decide and send you out and tell you, go and get a visa and transfer. Now, when we have such cases, and we try to contact this employer or this person to help, the person is not willing to help. When you try to file a case in the police, sometimes the police is not even able to go as far as helping. So what I'm trying to say with regards to this case is, I'm happy Mr. Hussein is here. If there can be more support for expatriates, like if their complaints can be highly regarded over that of the employers, because what happens in most cases is the employer's complaint is highly regarded, and because the employee comes after the employer's complaint, it has no foundation. I'll go back to what the lawyer spoke about. You need to have a visa. You must have a visa, then your case is valid. Now, I've had numerous cases where you have a legal visa, but because of some dissatisfaction with your work, you complain, the employer tells you, I will deal with you. I just had one we just finished lately, and when the employee wants to go and raise a case, the employer instantly cancels the visa and mentions in the place of the reason a runaway and just frame something negative against this employee. Now, when such is reason in the system, you go to LMRA, you have no foundation. The police, you have no foundation. He is a victim. So I want, what I'm asking is if the government can put like a platform where employees can also speak and they can be regarded and respected. Otherwise, a lot of expatriates are being suppressed by the employers. Thank you.
Thank you for that request. I'm sure it's well taken and noted, because as in the beginning we said, Bahrain is an employee-friendly country and the law is in place. But for some reason or the other, we do end having cases like this. And of course, one-on-one cases, I think, will be taken care by the embassies or the lawyers, respective community leaders. We'll take the next question. 2 questions together. Keep it very brief, please.
Sure, I will. Everyone, and thank you for giving me a chance to ask the question. I would like to ask the question regarding my Nepalese community, okay, as they are having a problem regarding the visa and a salary. In case if they have to file a complaint against their company regarding the salary and the visa purpose, what they have to do for that and how much time they have to, take to sort out this problem. And my next question is there any minimum wage law for the expatriate in Bahrain or not? Because I feel they are facing the discrimination at the workplace, and sometimes they are exploited on behalf of the salary also.
Thank you very much. The next question, please. I have the questions. I'll tell you the questions.
Good evening. I'm Philip from the Cameroonian community. I would like to talk specifically concerning the domestic workers. There is always these instances where when the domestic worker comes from the country of origin to Bahrain, they get to a house where they have to walk in, and then the conditions became too difficult for them that they cannot continue, and they opt to go out of the house. And the sponsor always asks them to pay back some money as the visa fee, whereas they already paid another money from the sponsor back home. So now my question here is, do the sponsors here pay money to the agents, and then the agents still collect money from the employee? Or is it a one way? I really don't understand how it goes, because it all falls back to the migrant workers, and they are the most vulnerable of all the domestic workers. They are the most vulnerable of all the migrant workers. Thank you.
Thank you, brother. One more question. Kindly keep it short.
Greetings all, protocols observed. I'm just here with a few questions to ask. And the first question is, how can we be able to create some awareness unto the people so that we can be able to manipulate and see the workspaces and monetize them to an effective solution? And the next question is, for example, like the Kenya Red Cross.
Could you repeat the first question, please?
Oh, sure. Yeah, so how could we be able to monetize the workspaces by us doing some biometric captures to the workspaces, whereby you can be able to see the number of workforces that we have in place and the visas that they have and the legality of the workspaces that they are in, as the first question.
Okay. Monitoring.
Okay. So, and the next question is, how can we be able to see or give the immediate access of the online support? For example, like the Kenya Red Cross Society, it gives an equal or easy platform for you to be able to go online and have end-to-end communication with somebody, for you to be able to have an effective outreach to the next person to offer you a solution. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for those questions. Unfortunately, we are not in a position to take more questions. We have to wind up this session. I would summarize the questions and maybe you can divide and answer. The first was from the Nepalese community on the complaints. If they have visa and salary complaints, how do they do it? Within how much time should they do it? Yeah.
If you have a complaint, the complaint must be filed in the LMRA Shahla office. You don't need a lawyer. You can go yourself and file the complaint. They have the translation service there, and they will take the complaint up to the court. Or PLC coordinator is saying he will coordinate the case and he will arrange everything to file the complaint. Now the number 2 was visa cancellation, right?
The second is both visa and salary. The complaints are, I think it's the same procedure, right?
Yeah, complaints are the same procedure. If anybody has a complaint, they can go to the LMRA Shahla. And they have a very open mind and they receive your complaint. But when you go there, you must carry your valid work permit copy or the residence permit copy and the CPR copy. And if you have a contract, take a copy of your contract. And don't worry if it is in English, they will accept it. If you have Arabic, take the Arabic copies and they will receive your complaint and they will give you a number. And if you are caught anywhere, you can show this number.
The next question was on the
Now one more thing, there is LMRA has a hotline. So you can get in touch with them through hotline also. And another thing, if you are on a visit visa, LMRA will not accept your complaint at all. So anyone with a visit visa has a problem, don't go to LMRA. If you are there, there is a danger that they will catch you and send you back or put you in jail. So please be careful.
Minimum wages law.
Minimum wages in Bahrain, there is no minimum wages for expatriates. Bahrainis.
So we're all on the same boat in that one aspect. No minimum wages.
No. Bahrainis, if you are taking for training and all, there is a minimum wage. There is a minimum wage for graduates, I think 450. For secondary school, 350. No. In the social insurance, no. Wait. If I add a lawyer as a trainee, I have to put 450. Otherwise, they will not accept the form. Yeah, it is there for anyway. Something is there. For expatriate, there is nothing. But for domestic workers,
what he said is it is not a law. What Mr. Hussaini said is not a law.
It's a rule or a procedure.
It's procedure. It's a procedure.
I think there is some kind of rules there, sir. I am sure there is nobody. Social insurance cannot implement something because.
Maybe we can.
It's okay.
Come back to that. Yeah.
Now minimum is finished. Now
domestic workers leaving due to bad working conditions. If they
if they have a valid visa, again they have to go to.
Can we please maintain silence in the hall, please?
They have to go to the LMRA. Even domestic workers can go to LMRA. Now I know from house it may be difficult to contact LMRA or police because you may not be allowed to leave the house. In that case, you keep telephone number of PLC who will help you. They will try their best to come and help you. This is all I can tell you on that one. Then money paid to the agents. See, in Bahrain, the rule is employee is not responsible for any fees. He should not pay any fees for the visas. But I am also aware that people are collecting, the agents are collecting money from people who are coming from outside. But I don't think, in Bahrain, I don't think the companies are taking money. They may be appointing an agent, and I am sure there is a fees. Nobody does anything free. If they charge, for example, $100, maybe the agent charge you $1,000. So, because there is a fee for everything. Yeah, there is. No, I'm not talking about each country.
It's
See,
a general thing. Let's
it's
not get into the
general.
nationalities.
In Bahrain, the rule is employees are not required to pay even a single penny for any visa charges or expenses. And when your contract finish, LMRA rule says you must be repatriated. If you find another job, it is fine. Otherwise, the rule says you cannot leave an employee on the island without a job. So if contract is finished, you must send him back at the expense of the employer. That is the rule. Is it clear for the people who asked that question?
Yes.
And,
monitoring workplaces.
Yeah, monitoring workplaces. That is what LMRA is doing. That is what they are catching you. They are coming and checking whether you are legal, whether all the people are there. Yes, summer awareness. There are labor inspections. I think they are doing it coordinated. Labor Ministry, LMRA, Public Security and Immigration. 4 authorities are doing the inspection together. LMRA checks on the work permit side. I think labor check on the safety and security. And the LMRA again, the immigration on the visa status. All people are doing this inspection. That is the monitoring. Then it is up to the employer to keep proper records, proper visas and all. It is on the employer. And that also is in the labor law. There are obligations on the employer also. And all their employees' file must be kept open so that the inspectors can inspect it. So, any other point?
Online services.
Yeah, LMRA has a helpline. And PLC also has a helpline, 24/7. Thank you.
The PLC volunteers are all here. Please feel free to network with us and take the numbers before you leave. You can get the free legal services from us. Unfortunately, we don't have time because it's 10 o'clock.
Tomorrow.
No, I'm telling 10 o'clock. This is such a big topic. I think we should have a continuing session. Because Mr. Chabilal, I did not give him a second chance. Mr. George, I did not give him a second chance. I did not tap the potential of the lawyers. There are more diplomats here. Unfortunately, 10 o'clock is too late and tomorrow is a working day. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for being such a nice audience. This topic is very important. As Ban Ki-moon has said, we all, as migrants, we can aspire for migration because it's all about dignity, better living, and our future. So, you cannot complain about people migrating. All we should be aiming at, or we should be hoping to do, is make migration a process that is smooth and not a problem. I hope all of you agree with us. Thank you, my wonderful panelists.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us. Dr. Shushruth is here. Thank you. Dr. Shushruth had asked me to open the floor if you have any questions related to the talk that he gave us, a wonderful talk on the health, lifestyle changes for better mobility. He is also here. We may take the next 10 minutes to network around. Please feel free to approach him. He is right here. On that note, I thank you one and all, and I hand the stage back to my dear friend, Ramanpreet.
Thank you, Raji. Thank you so much. It's rightly said, we cannot and we should not stop migration. And as Raji said, it's a process. It's not a problem. And thank you, Thomas sir. Thank you, Advocate Wafa Ansari, Advocate Muhammad Makhlood, Mr. George Muthuri, and Mr. Chabilal for enlightening all of us on the process of safe migration. And I would say, summing up the whole discussion, be legal, have a clear picture of all your documents, carry proper documents, and nothing can go wrong with you, either in your hometown or anywhere abroad. Thank you everyone once again for joining us today over here, and thank you for people who have joined us on online. It's time for me to say goodbye to all of you, but before going, I would invite Ms. Sushma Anil, our General Secretary for PLC Bahrain, to give a vote of thanks. Thank you everyone. Good night.
Good evening, everyone. I know vote of thanks is something that nobody likes to wait for, but still, just give a few minutes and you will be free. On behalf of Pravasi Legal Cell, Bahrain Chapter, I, Sushma Anil, would like to extend my special thanks to Mr. Ravi Shankar Shukla, Second Secretary, Embassy of India to Kingdom of Bahrain. I would like to thank to our esteemed guest, Mr. Mafjur Rahman, First Secretary, Bangladesh Embassy. Ms. Jamna Kafle, Labor Attaché from Nepalese Embassy. Mr. Chabilal, Honorary President of Nepalese Club. Ms. Shashika Sumratna, Head of Chancery, Sri Lankan Embassy. And Mr. George Muturi, representing Kenyan community. I would like to thank Mr. Hussein Al-Husseini, Head of Awareness and Guidance from Ministry of Labor. Thanks to Dr. Amarjit Sandhu for her presence here. Wholeheartedly, I thank Advocate Jose Abraham, founder and global president of Pravasi Legal Cell, who graced us with his presence and guidance. I would like to thank Mr. William Goes, Migrant Federation Asia Regional Coordinator, for his presence on the Zoom. I thank Mr. Sudhir Tirunilat for welcome address for this event. Sincere thanks to our lawyers, Advocate Tariq Aloyan and Advocate V.K. Thomas, Advocate Wafa Ansari, Advocate Muhammad Maklouk, Advocate Madhwan Kallat. Thanks to our moderator, Ms. Raji Unikrishnan, and our MC, Ms. Ramanpreet. Thanks to Mr. Manish from Al Najaf Bakery for providing us the snacks, and Bhagwanji for providing the soft drinks, which you are going to get once I finish giving vote of thanks. Thanks to BMC team and all medias for covering the event. Thanks to Mr. Mohammad Salim for his IT support on behalf of PLC team. Thanks to Dr. Sushrat from KIMS for his talk on lifestyle changes for better mobility. Thanks to KIMS Hospital Management, Dr. Kritika. IT support staff, Mr. Bibish and Mr. Shinaz. Finally, I would like to thank all of you present here for making this time to be with us today and helping us to make this event a grand success. Thank you, one and all. Now, we have some snacks which you can get from the back. And thank you, everyone.
The 16th branch of Megamart and Macromart supermarkets in Bahrain has opened in Sahla. The best offers are available to the customers at affordable rates. Everyone is welcome. During and around the opening day, a variety of fish including salmon, meat and dairy products, roastery, frozen items, food and non-food items, groceries, fruits and vegetables, electronics, garments and ready-to-eat food items are available to the customers at affordable rates. Hearty welcome to all. Megamart and Macromart, your favorite shopping destination.